Hi, it's Louie Ortiz from the HGTV featured Louie Ortiz Group, and today we're going to be talking what you need to know about investment properties. As a real estate agent on our team, we believe we can help you achieve bigger goals faster with us. We are so much more than just an impressive cutting-edge real estate sales and marketing team. We want to help you build and achieve financial freedom by sharing income strategies, leverage, and more. One of the strategies we share is how to build an investment property portfolio. Investment properties can be an amazing way to create passive income, build equity over time, and build wealth. If you are an agent looking at an exit strategy someday, or maybe thinking about retirement, or maybe just looking for some extra monthly cash flow, investment properties can be great and amazing to help you achieve that. In this video, I'm going to share with you several items. Number one, I'm going to give you an overview and examples of how to build wealth with investment properties. Number two, advantages and disadvantages of owning investment properties. Number three, basic metrics to evaluate an investment property. Number four, types of properties that are best to buy. Number five, house hacking, what it is and how to do it. And number six, how to find properties to buy and where to find them, especially when there's no inventory like right now. And number seven, how to pay and finance properties. Let me give you a quick example of how powerful this can be and one way that it can help your life. Let's say for a moment that you want to buy a car, and let's say it's going to be a really nice car. Let's say that car costs $60,000 and you're going to put $20,000 down and finance it. You finance it over 72 months at about a 4% interest rate. Your car payment would be about $625 a month. Now, let's say you bought a property with that same $20,000. The seller agrees to seller financing, which I'll explain in just a moment. Let's say you put $15,000 down and save $5,000 for repairs. Let's say you buy a property that costs $150,000, a triplex. You finance for 30 years at, say, 5%. Your monthly mortgage would be about $725 a month. Let's say each of your units in the triplex rents for $700 a month, so you would gross $2,100 a month. Now, you need to pay, say, an 8% management fee, 10% for insurance. You budget for repairs, insurance, vacancy rate, capital improvements, etc. So let's say you take that $2,100 minus the management fee, $210 for insurance. That's actually 10%, not 8%. $725 for your mortgage. That gives you a gross income of $955 a month in income. That's after paying your mortgage. Now, we need to calculate if you need some repairs, and also to account for vacancy rate. So let's just say $300 a month for that amount, which I think is a very generous number. Now, if you take the gross profit of $955 minus $300 a month, $655 a month would be your net income per month. These are real world numbers in a market near you, and I'm not just making up these numbers. To illustrate, the investment property you just bought just paid for your car. How awesome is that? Oh, and by the way, after your car is paid off, you're making even more monthly cash flow and building equity. Plus, most likely the value of your property has gone up over time. Now, there are other considerations and risks, and we'll explain more, and this is just one simple illustration of how owning an investment property can help you achieve financial freedom. Now, imagine for a moment you had more than one property. Can you see the impact this could make on your life? Pretty incredible. When you are on our team, we're going to share strategies how you can find properties, how to have someone else manage them, and how to build equity into even greater wealth. Now, there's so many advantages to buying an investment property. Some of the advantages are, number one, appreciation over time, tax benefits, cash flow, leverage, equity, and it's an asset that you can sell so you can have security. Now, there are some disadvantages as well. You do need some money to start in most cases. The wealth that you build is over time. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You do have to have some cash requirements because you need to account for vacancy, repair, so be prepared. So you do need some cash reserves. Liquidity is not always quick. If you need to get out of the property, it takes a little bit of time to sell an investment property. And it can be a disadvantage if you're trying to time the market. I strongly encourage you to buy properties and look at the long-term investment and don't try to time the market just to flip a property. We have some basic metrics to evaluate properties as well. There are so many ways to evaluate a property and no one method alone should be used. And I'm going to give you just a couple of quick examples. Number one is capitalization rate, which is the most common. Capitalization rate, or cap rate, is the rate of return expected to be generated on a property based on the net operating income, which is NOI, by the property's current asset value expressed as a percentage. I know it sounds a little complicated and I'll get into more detail later. We will go into more detail when you join our team, and please visit our website at louieortiz.com to learn more. I want to share with you another way to evaluate a property. It's called the 1% rule. The 1% rule is a very simple calculation that basically calculates if the monthly rent will exceed the property's mortgage. Is the monthly collected rent more than 1% of the cost of the property? Let me give you an example. For example, let's say you bought a property that costs $500,000. With the 1% rule, that property should rent for $5,000 a month. Now, it's important to understand that the 1% rule does not capture all the expenses, but it's just a really simple way that you can evaluate a property. There are multiple other ways to evaluate properties, and we even offer our team members a workbook sheet that you can help analyze and review your prospective property so that you can make an informed decision if you decide to buy a property, which I hope you will. Our team also masterminds regularly so that we can help you build financial freedom. So what type of property should you buy? Types of properties include land, single-family homes, duplexes, multi-units, apartment buildings, commercial buildings. There's so many different types of properties you can buy. With my personal experience, I personally like multi-units, duplexes, triplexes, and apartment buildings. And the reason that I like these is that when you buy one of these, you have more than one rental source. In other words, if you buy a single-family home and the home is not rented, you're not making money and you're still having to pay the carrying costs for the home. With a multi-unit, if one of your tenant moves out, you can still collect rent from the other tenants, and this helps minimize your risk and also improves your cash flow. For our team members, we have an exercise worksheet that will help you review of what types of properties will best help you achieve your goals the fastest. There is another common way you can start investing with investment properties, and it's called house hacking. House hacking is when you live in one of the multi-units of your investment property as your primary residence, and your renters from the other units pay your mortgage and expenses. This is another great way to get started, and we can review strategies for this as well. So how do you find an investment property? Where do you go to find them? If you use the 1% rule, it's very difficult to find something in Southern California. Additionally, California can be somewhat expensive. Sometimes you can find deals, but when you consider the costs, many times you can find better cash flowing properties in other states. When considering where to buy, there are areas that are very popular for investors, areas like Nevada and Arizona. Today, if you look at these markets, it's very competitive and difficult to find great deals. They can still be found there, but it is definitely more competitive. Here's a quick example. Let's say you buy a multi-unit in California for $500,000, and let's say it cash flows for $100,000 a month after expenses, mortgage, repairs, capital improvement, management fees, etc. That might seem like a really good deal, right? $1,000 a month. But consider in many cases you can find an investment property in another state for, say, $150,000 cash that could also generate that same $1,000 a month. For that same $500,000 cost, you could buy as many as $350,000 properties that each cash flow $1,000 or $3,000 a month instead of $1,000 a month. Can you see how lower cost properties in another state might be better for cash flow? Now, there are some other considerations to consider, like appreciation. Historically, properties in Southern California typically have higher appreciation rates than other states. So it's very important that you're very clear on your financial goals. For me, cash flow is so important and a great way to build passive income and financial freedom. So we help you review other areas in the country where the cap rate is very high, the local economy is strong and growing, and where you can achieve the 1% rule or higher. We have a complete strategy to help you find properties. Now, some of those strategies include working with local real estate agents and brokers, networking with local investment groups, contacting owners of properties to find off-market deals, working and networking with property managers to find off-market deals, canvassing certain areas with targeted mail, email, or even phone calls. You know, it can be so much more profitable when you find an investment property when you're not competing with other investors. Out-of-state investing can be a great way, and we have some great tools to help you find really wonderful deals. So how do you pay for an investment property? Here are a couple of ways and a short comment on each. Number one, a conventional mortgage. A conventional mortgage can work well if you have good credits, a good credit score, and income. Keep in mind that the qualification guidelines and down payment amounts can be slightly more for non-owner occupied properties. That means that for purchasing a property that you do not live in. Properties can cash flow, and at the date of this recording, interest rates are very low. Another way to finance a property is seller financing, which is my personal favorite. Seller financing is a real estate agreement in which the seller handles the mortgage process. Instead of applying for a conventional mortgage, the buyer signs a mortgage with the seller. Now, there's many advantages to using seller financing. The terms, down payment, interest rate, payoff time, and more can be negotiated between you and the seller. You often don't have to go through the traditional qualification guidelines, and you can be much more creative with the down payment and terms. Some sellers may not even require a down payment. This is also an excellent alternative if you don't have great credit or a lot of money for a down payment. There are more advantages and ways to structuring deals using seller financing, and please check back with us and look for our other videos about seller financing at the Louie Ortiz Group. When you're on our team, we help you review options and determine which option is best for you. There is one other financial method that can be a very powerful way to build your portfolio. It's called the Bur Method. The Bur Method, which stands for Buy, Rehab, Rent, Refinance, and Repeat, is a real estate investment strategy that involves flipping distressed properties, renting it out, and then cashing out or refinancing it in order to further fund another rental investment property. I know that's a lot of words. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, you buy a property and it needs some work. Maybe it's a triplex, like the example that we used before, and all 3 units are rented when you purchase the property. Eventually, one of the tenants moves out, so you renovate that unit and you re-rent it at a slightly higher price. Over time, you'll do this with all the units in your triplex. Over a short time, with the capital improvements you have made and the equity and price appreciation, you oftentimes can refinance that property and take out some of that equity. Now, I suggest making sure that your property is still positively cash flowing when you do that. But now, you can take out that purchase money and use it to purchase another property. Can you see how powerful? Because you can take that initial investment and deposit that you made and leverage it to buy more properties with that same initial deposit. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. A great concept to understand, and we can definitely explain that in more detail. Can you see how powerful investment properties can be to build cash flow and wealth? Imagine if you owned several investment properties, how much freedom and income you could have in your life. Now, this video is meant to give you a brief overview and is not meant to oversimplify the process. There's a lot more to understand, and we're happy to share that with you. We're very excited to offer real estate agents on our team strategies, processes, and tools to get started. I also want to point out that when you own investment properties, you're not only creating income strategies for yourself, but you're also providing clean, affordable housing, you're positively impacting communities, and you're changing lives, including your own. And also remember that real estate can also provide generational wealth for your family, which is so important. Are you an agent thinking about joining our team? Are you one of our clients or someone just looking to get started with income-producing properties? Or maybe you're just curious how to get started or to learn more. Contact us at the link here below and let us share with you how we can help you achieve your financial goals with investment properties. We're looking forward to welcoming you into our community and sharing all of this with you.